Hey guys, this video is about debunking the old choose the right girl insult. You know, when a woman does a guy bad, instead of guys saying, wow, she was a real cretin, they say, oh, you should just chose the right girl. Well, we're going to look at Colonel Kurt's video where they show this young lady talking about Marilyn Manson, and this young lady, what was her name? Rachel Wood turned on him. And we'll see if there were
Alrighty, Evan Rachel Wood, actress. If he'd watched films or television. From Westworld, you know, the show where you could fuck robots, which is probably the only action my friend's getting.
any red flags that he was supposed to go by, right?
Right.
His experience is what this young lady has to say proves that there's no way you can choose the right girl, right? Now, she's talking about now. We'll show that she was there with Manson and Rachel Wood.
Evan Rachel Wood.
Okay, there's her pic with her and Manson. So you know that they actually hung around. She was, I think, a dancer in one of his videos, right? Matter of fact, if this particular video that they are discussing,
I think, right?
there she is with Evan Rachel Wood, the one who's accusing Manson, right? So she was there, and she's going to debunk it. Now, first, we're going to show you how Wood here turned on Manson, right?
Right.
And how The View, which is a major television show,
right,
knows better. And yet they had this woman on to tell her lies.
You agreed to appear in his music video, and you allege that he gave you a lot of drugs and alcohol, and then had you do things in the video that you never agreed to, including having sex with him on film.
Right. Okay. Now let's get up to here.
This video should affect you, and how do you respond to both?
Did the tone of her did that make you think she was full of shit? Right. Let's now let me go forward and then backwards. Right. I'm going to jump back and forth because I'm the Quentin Tarantino of ignorant incels. So
Denial and his lawyer's denial.
Well, we did not have sex on set. I was raped on set. It's a difference.
Any body language experts knows what's going on here. I don't need to be an expert to see that this woman is uncomfortable.
Oh my Christ. Chicken coop on a sticker. Can you have I don't need to be an expert just tattooed on your fucking forehead? That is quite crystal clear, you dunce. I don't need to be an expert. I have an opinion. Before I don't need to hear anything. I can pick guilty people out like that. Oh, female? Guilty. Agenda. Propaganda. Right?
Shit story. She knows this is a bullshit story. And she also knows that, guess what? Manson and his lawyers are on the work to expose her for what she is. Now, this View...
Or anybody who reads body language or anything knows that that's a motion of protection. When you're trying to console yourself, like a self-hug or a self... That's not a movement of lying. That is a movement of consoling yourself. So, I mean, he doesn't need to be an expert, but a little bit of knowledge would be something. I know when I get anxious, I do that. She's talking about, struggle snuggles, for fuck's sake.
Group, cretins.
Cretins.
They've already been through the Johnny Depp Amber Heard, right?
Right.
So they know that they shouldn't...
Fecal matter isn't sex, right?
Have another false...
Her dog died, which causes tears, right?
Accuser on, but they're backing them.
And when you're inebriated like that, you can't consent.
Right.
And these people very often tell on themselves. I don't even really have to say anything.
Yeah, she doesn't. What she's really saying is she doesn't want to say anything. She doesn't want to go into detail.
Sorry, you're not an expert. So who are you to talk? You said it yourself. You don't need to be an expert. So you said that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Why is there still fucking 10 minutes in this video?
Because you go into details, they can be examined. So it's just more listen and believe.
Examined?
Right. So this woman is lying her ass off, right?
Is she?
Right, exactly. Now.
He says right, and it says right exactly. You asked yourself a question, you just left something dangling out there and said, right, exactly. I don't need to be an expert. I just answer my own questions. And my questions are the best, and I know the best answers to my questions. Right?
Well, listen to what this young lady has to say. You know,
Are we skipping
I was there, and Evan is lying about Manson. Right, exactly.
Stop with the right. Secondhand knowledge.
She talks about the so-called sex scene that Rachel was supposedly raped.
We went back the next afternoon, and I got to see the simulated sex scene.
Did you have any indication that it was real?
No. It was, I mean, obviously, you can tell just by watching the music video how absolutely fucking crazy about each other those two were during that music video.
That's important. This is important. So they were absolutely crazy about one another.
Also, high off their fucking ass is what she said. You can be with somebody that you are attracted to and a lover and still have sex that you're not consensual of. Right?
So I have to ask you guys, if when this woman is crazy over water.
Plus, usually when there's nudity on a film set, usually, I don't know, I don't know what Marilyn Manson's got going on. If there's just nudity, there's as few people as possible on set. They call it a closed set. And for a sex scene, I would imagine it's just the director and the camera operator and or the cinematographer or director of photography. Sometimes the director will take his or her clothes off to make the performers feel a bit more comfortable. Sometimes, I mean, I've heard where anybody else that's been in the room has been nude. And there have been multiple occasions where people have performed sexual acts on camera. Hello, France. I'm looking at you.
Here, Brian Warner, Marilyn Manson. How could Marilyn Manson tell that she was the wrong girl?
Wrong girl. Right.
And it's just intense chemistry and intense sexuality because they're both kind of devouring each other, which, you know, that's...
Wouldn't that be the intent of the art of the video?
what you do when you're absolutely in love with somebody. But
yeah, she was absolutely in love with him.
And high.
So this young lady who was absolutely in love
and high
with Brian Warner turned on him, like you see back here. So I have to ask you guys, how could you possibly know as a guy that women are flipping? The only way you could know it if you just assumed that there's a female nature that's very negative towards you as a man and admit it.
No, you've done it. I don't know. I've lost count at 10. You do this thing called asking a question. You have a code word that lets you know, hey, regardless of how this feels, I don't want to do this. People like to drink alcohol, but they don't fucking get drunk noon to midnight every day. You know, some self-control is displayed. Sometimes you need help displaying control. So
that's the only way you could know.
No, that's not the only way.
According to what this woman was saying, right?
Right. Right.
any point where there was penetration or vulgarity or anything like that. It was strictly a cinematic.
Wait, penetration is separate from vulgarity. Okay.
Simulated sex scene.
Exactly. So this woman's telling us all something we guys actually know by now.
Stop. Just stop. How many times have you had sex while high with cameras in your face is my first question. Don't give me this we all as guys know bullshit. Stop it, you imbecile.
Shit that she's lying.
Wow. So Evan has claimed that in the scene in question that you came back for, that you were present for. Now, you, by the way, I just want to clarify, you weren't in the scene. You were just watching. You were present, but you were in the room.
Yeah, what happened was the entrance to the warehouse was here, and then you walk this.
We don't need these details.
What? The details of who was there? Who else could?
Okay, so one of the things that Evan has claimed is that she was wasted out of her mind when this scene that you were present for, when it was filmed. She claims that Manson got her wasted on some stuff, different things, and that she was totally out of her mind and out of it, and therefore couldn't consent. And of course,
this is another thing guys should be fighting. What we're hearing right here is this hyper agency on men and hypo agency on women. If this girl got herself wasted, that was on her.
No.
Even if Marilyn Manson had offered her something.
Offered her? Have you seen Marilyn Manson perform live? Dude, you're acting like you're talking about a schoolboy here. Get off your own fucking pedestal, man. You should know better than to take drugs.
She, as a young adult, had to agree to it, and how much she imbibed was up to her, too, right? So
how much she imbibed?
No more of this horseshit
of, what was,
these women couldn't help themselves.
Of course, and of course, Evan claims that
there's this thing called coercion. Like, people don't want to do things, but they'll do things to get ahead. Like, I don't want to be watching your bullshit, but I know I'm going to get the clicks. Fucking, there are a ton of people on YouTube that do things that they don't want to do, but they do it because it's a fucking capitalist country, baby. And, good intentions don't put a roof over your head.
Sex took place. You're saying that it did not, but beyond that, she's claiming also that she was really wasted, and also that after the sex scene took place, she was really upset by this and really depressed and out of it. So
on set, her and Manson were consulting the whole time with each other. They had written the treatment together.
The treatment.
They were talking about costumes, her makeup. When the stand-ins were doing their job, they were talking about they were both just very focused on different technicalities.
Yeah, exactly. So that's bullshit. We know that.
What's bullshit? What is bullshit?
Time was very cheerful and was she not wasted out of her mind? Did she seem like cognizant?
She was absolutely cognizant. She was present. She was.
So, has this person covered This Place Rules director yet? Channel 5, Andrew, from that, where nobody said a word until he got popular? Although I'm almost certain he has something to say about that. Yeah, you kind of feel guilted sometimes. And sometimes you're sort of into the person and you're not really... You're into the person, but you're not into the act, but you'll do it because I like having this person around. Some people have emotions and they are afraid that if they reject somebody, that person will never talk to them again. Some people have really, really low egos and self-esteem, right? Like not getting in front of a camera, right?
Got a great sense of humor. There was jokes going back and forth between me, her, and Manson. She was directing the crew, like asking where she should be, on top of him, underneath him, to the side of him.
Yeah. So again, every guy listening, how would Marilyn Manson know that this woman was going to turn around and tell these lies later on? I mean, bold-faced lies that could easily be checked out. How would he know that by what was going on at the time? right? He couldn't
What?
have. There are no look when the ladies are.
Why are these things in marriages called prenups? Why is there such a thing? I'm getting married. I'm going to love this person forever. Let me just cover my ass just in case. Why do those exist? Right? Idiot.
Using you
Yo.
and supposedly right in love with you. There are no red flags. There aren't any.
Person who's never been in love. Just outed.
But one last thing, though.
For
I
4
want
minutes.
to point out that this woman who's sticking up for him is not really a hero. You see, she's actually the opposite side of the same coin as Rachel Wood.
Ah.
Rachel Wood is trying to use Brian Warner here by claiming he
Stick
assaulted her.
to a name. Evan Rachel Wood, Brian Warner, Marilyn Manson. What the fuck? It's hard to keep track because we can't see your face.
And this woman is trying to use him by saying, I'm the hero here to speak up for him. But both these young ladies are using him. I want you to know that.
Oh, good.
I don't know,
Thanks.
that whole thing, that's what
And what are you doing? If she's using this situation, what are you doing, you fucking clown?
prompted me to speak up, actually, was when I saw the allegations about the music video, because, I was present for that. And even though Manson and I had not spoken for 13 years, 14 years or something at that point, I was just like, I can't be silent about this, because that's not what happened.
Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about. She hasn't spoken with this guy for 13 years. In other words, look, Rachel Wood, right? Her career was going good. She was on the coattails of Manson. And of course, she was lovey-dovey. As soon as her career is over, for whatever reason, she was peaked when she was in her teens. And
Somebody doesn't watch
over,
HBO.
And so she's getting her 15 minutes of fame by saying a man assaulted her. This woman never had a career. She was just an extra on that video. So she's getting her 15-minute of fame by playing the hero. And I'm here to protect Manson.
Yeah.
Right.
And why can't the people that call out the people that are calling out the people that aren't famous anymore, that already had their 15 minutes, that are looking for their 15 minutes, why can't they get their 15 minutes? Right?
But trust me, neither one of these women are on his side. Okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to conclude this video by saying, look, Brian Warner, how was he going to know that Wood here was going to turn on him so many years later, just out of the blue? How would he know? How would you choose the right girl? Right? Matter of fact, we've guys in general, not just the Pro Male Collective, but
if you knew what the future held, what the fuck would you do something that would end up falling apart for? Why would there be anything called divorce, breakup, car accidents, death, plane crashes? If you knew in advance what was going to happen, why would you do the thing if it's negative? That is the stupidest logic I've ever heard in my life.
We guys in general have seen over the last 5 years so many of these cases where women turned on men that they were good to them. These men were good to these women.
Oh,
and then they just turned on them later on. We've seen enough of it that you can say, no, this isn't just a particular individual. This is human nature.
Right.
What is that old Brifholtz law that they talked about, right?
What?
Once the female gets everything she wants out of the male, she ditches him. She shows no loyalty. She owes the male nothing. And that's exactly what's going on here.
Net worth by CelebrityNetWorth.com is $8 million. You know, scraps. $250,000 an episode of a 10-episode series, which was just canceled, by the way. Just canceled. So, you know, she's like, fuck, I need 24 million. And this, what the fuck am I going to do with myself? Okay, 10 highest grossing Marilyn Manson albums. 10 released in 2012. 9 released in 2015. 8 released in 2009. 7 released in 2007. 6 released in 2003. 5 released in 2000. 4 released in 1994. 3 released in 1995. 2 released in 1998. 1 released in 1996, and you said in the last 5 years or so. So Marilyn Manson, of his many records, albums, whatever you want to call them, the last album of Marilyn Manson's to have significance on his top 10 highest selling albums was 2015, which is 7 years before the 2022 article, right? So it would seem like he needs the attention more than Evan Rachel Wood does. I mean, technically, if you want to say just because Westworld was canceled just this past year, that they both need relevance. But if you want to say who is more relevant more recently, $250,000 an episode just last year when Marilyn Manson can't crack his own top 10. And the last time he did that was 2015. And you're talking about this 5-year spectrum. Wrong again.
The only way you could tell if you just, again, assumed this is female nature, period.
Assume.
The red flag is that she was born female. Because they're not going to give any red flags when they're pretending they're 100% on your side, when they're riding your coattails.
So everybody's just
so
anything
don't
with
let
estrogen.
Anyone give you that, you know, you should have chosen the right girl horse shit. That's an insult to you. That's laying the blame on you, the victim. It's victim blaming.
So
okay?
being a man is a victim.
So that's how we're ending this. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. I've been a victim. Born, here's how you know, right? Born a female. Red flag. Victim blaming. Fucking priceless, dude. Holy Christmas crunch berries. Okay, so this is the most recent one. The title of the video is Modern Horror is Female Narcissism. And again, goes after a fairly larger YouTuber in the horror sphere. I don't know if this person hates women so much, yet can't get enough of horror. Man, that genre's got to just fucking be like a dick punch every time you put something on, because if there's a genre that women own, it's horror. Anywho, let's hear about the narcissism in modern horror. Oh boy.
Modern horror is very much about female narcissism. It's well hidden under good stories. But, you know, they are obvious if you pay attention.
That's not obvious
now,
then.
This content creator, 4+, has 4 movies, and the narcissism becomes worse in each case. Now, I'm going to focus, believe it or not, on the witch. So
I just want to reiterate that the title of the video is Scariest Genre of Horror.
Stay tuned for that particular, because this one shows you this is completely feminist in its.
The witch, feminist. The Witch, which takes place before America was a country. Dude, seriously, read, first touch some grass, go outside, rub some grass, and tell yourself, ooh, this is kind of close to what maybe a vagina would feel like if perhaps the feminist red flag holding anarchist would feel like if she didn't shave. And then read a book.
In its making.
The articles.
Right.
Her, a creature you see for what I believe to be only 2 scenes when it's not shown in the book. This movie relies on having masterful writing, and it takes extra skill on the director's part because the audience needs to be invested in a movie where barely anything happens, and you need the viewer to connect with the characters and just watch them live out their life.
Exactly. It's masterful writing and directing. So all you guys who cope by saying, like feminists cannot make good films, you are wrong. You are wrong. Now, let's see.
Do you know what the Babadook is about? It's about trauma. Once again, I have the question. Has this person seen any of the films that he's talking about? The Babadook is about narcissism. As is, we need to talk about Kevin. I won't talk about that, though, because the lead character is a boy named Kevin. Right?
Here we are. This film is basically about this woman's mental state.
Trauma.
It's completely about her inner mental life.
Not as grand.
What the fuck? Protagonist. We call those protagonists.
As you were expecting, which is why you will probably be still left tense even after the scene is over and we've moved on. This movie's budget was only $2 million, and with that low of a budget, creating an effective movie...
Hey, that's 1/4 of Evan Rachel Wood's value. Man, this movie better start accusing people of sexual assault if it needs to be relevant. Right?
Takes an incredibly creative director.
See, that's essentially what the movie's about, right?
Right.
Her going nuts and becoming the monster. Right. Now, we'll get to Hereditary.
What? How is being a monster narcissism? Is it being a is being a monster? Is the protagonist being a monster narcissistic to who? You, the viewer, or what are you talking about? Jason Voorhees, just such a narcissist. Just me. I have to kill everything.
Anyone ever have a scene with their mother like this?
Fucking say it. Don't you swear at me!
Hey, another film featuring prominent trauma. Hereditary. Guarantee you, he does not have the context for this situation.
Shit! Don't you ever raise your voice at me! I am your mother! Do you understand? All I do is worry and slave and defend you, and all I get back is that fucking face on your face! And what a waste! If it could have maybe brought us together or something!
Yeah, complete everything is about me.
It's weirdly edited, so if you haven't seen this movie and you're going off the way that this is cut, probably due to copyright reasons, it probably comes off a little odd, but again, this is her crashing point because she's featured much trauma, and that little boy at the table, one could say was irresponsible and may have something to do with it. And when you're just at your absolute peak of anxiety and trauma, you tend to do things and say things you don't want to.
Way in this film, this woman stays at home and makes models. She's a stay-at-home housewife leeching off her husband.
Oh my God. She stays home and makes models. Stay-at-home wife leeching off of her husband. What are we talking about here? Is this art? Well, what do you call this? You call this propaganda. Regardless, they still charge for this propaganda. Her little model house propaganda probably pulls in money, like on Etsy or something like that. If you left the house, you would realize that it's possible for people to work from home, doing things like building model houses rather well, I might say. As a matter of fact, she treats it like a job. I wonder why. That's weird. Such a stay-at-home wife.
And yet, she is the one who sees herself as the important person. Okay? Next, we'll save Witch for last, okay?
Okay.
Now for Midsummers.
It's not the title.
By the way, I don't give a shit about spoilers.
Because
I'm talking about something important. So I don't care if you never see these movies.
Because he hasn't.
See the movie for yourself, which you should. Our main character gets her happy ending. By the end of the movie, she has found a way to forget.
Brilliant cinematography, by the way. Nice design. Costume design.
About what has happened to her, and the movie ends with a smile on her face. Pleased and in a better mood. Which is good, right? Well, if by good you mean she joined a cult and killed her boyfriend by sticking him in a bear costume, paralyzing him, and setting him on fire.
Hey, there you go. This woman is happy now because she had a boyfriend who she no longer has any use for. So she didn't break up with him. She destroyed him. Right.
If you had seen the movie and if you understood what sarcasm was, you wouldn't be as fucking happy as you are right now, thinking you're dunking on, I don't know, feminism as a whole.
Discards him.
Well, if by good you mean she joined a cult and killed her boyfriend by sticking him in a bear costume, paralyzing him, and setting him on fire.
Satire.
All these movies I mentioned before is about people who get taken over by their overwhelming feelings and because of that do bad things. However, in this movie, our main character...
Bad things. Bad things being said by a man. And he's not saying, right? Although I don't know. Perhaps Ryan identifies as something else, but we'll call this ignorance... unwilling ignorance. I'm an inig. Just like the voiceover artist is involuntarily celibate.
Character doesn't get taken over. She lets everything out, recovers, and lives in a way that she is accepting, leaving people even more terrified because it shows their main character, who throughout the movie was always questioning the intentions of the cult, eventually joining in and becoming the leader of it.
I know. Joining in and becoming the leader of it. Exactly. She has a boyfriend who she uses until she gains status and she dumps him. And she doesn't just leave him behind. She absolutely destroys him.
They go on a vacation. How would she know? How would she know? Again, oh, wait, maybe our glorious voiceover artist thinks that men don't have foresight, but women do. That's another one of the red flags. They know exactly what they're doing at all times.
Doesn't she? Right. That is a horror story to me. This is a true life horror story.
Yeah.
And it mirrors real life to me.
Yeah, you're in it. You're in it, pal. You're in it. You just
the woman uses
to wake up.
the man she was intimate with as a stepping stone to status, and then when she dumps him, again, She can't just leave him behind. She has to absolutely destroy him. Right. Now, the witch, we'll get to the witch. This one, I'm going to use a different YouTuber who focused entirely on it. In this case, Ryan Holland.
Oh, that wasn't Ryan. My apologies.
Let's see, do I have? Yes, here we go. Blaming the father. The witch is the worst of the bunch, really. So 340. Where they basically, here we go. Now, this story is essentially a young girl living off the coattails of her family unit and then destroying the family unit.
This film takes place in the 1600s. Just remember that. The Witch takes place in the 1600s. They speak some fucking bizarre version of English, so much so that I got frustrated watching it with subtitles. I can't wait. I can't wait to see how feminism was so prominent in the 1600s.
His prideful conceit. Excommunication involves the suspension of membership to a religious community, as well as restricted rights to the likes of receiving sacraments. In the case of the father, it's quite a humiliating punishment, as he's effectively banished from his religion as a sinner of God, who must now beg for forgiveness alone.
See how it is? It's prideful. His sin is pride, and he's banished.
Not by women, though. What the fuck? What are you on about?
Right.
Right.
This father he's a stand-in for the average guy.
And it's the average guy that's telling him to fuck. What?
The average father. The average father is a loser who was wearing a mask of someone who is capable. And the daughter, of course, pulls the mask off.
The daughter wasn't able to excommunicate him, especially not in the 1600s, buddy.
Conceit, as they call it, refers to taking pride in one's own vanity and possessions, which goes against the word of God because it's seen as worshipping false idols.
Themselves. Narcissism. Himself.
As the Old Testament suggests.
You just said it.
The daughter Thomason later calls the father out to be a hypocrite because he goes against his own Puritan beliefs of rejection.
See? This do-nothing girl who lives off of everybody tears down her father.
In the 1600s.
Right. And you'll notice that this is out of the man's control. He was excommunicated
by men
for actually having some kind of ego. From
false idols. Again, the further you go back in time, the more hardcore the religion gets. Or cults. However you want to look into it. Right.
Himself, right? So his society says, know your place. Yeah, low level nobody. Here's the one we should be worshiping.
When is that implied in the movie?
Rejecting self.
She's not even
indulgence. The image of
they have this. See, I wish you knew what cinematography was, because they're shot from the same angle. It's not like she's shot from a dominant angle, and he was shot from an angle where you're looking down on him. They have the same angle. It's just a shot reverse.
Him praying to God while looking very much like our depiction of Jesus goes as far as to perpetuate his sinful pride and vanity.
There's fantastic cinematography in The Witch that really, thank God for it, because you would be hard pressed if you were, well, I was hard pressed to follow the old school, old ye English with all the different spellings and words and pronunciations and such. But the cinematography, it tells you the story through the images. That's what good films do. Good storytelling via the picture.
Even further, as if he himself has become his own false idol.
Same hairdo.
He even admits to this, hence why he drops the axe and refuses to kill the goat in the climax of the film. By killing the goat, it only further reinforces...
Yeah, see, the father's admitting he's a loser, right?
No, just not Christ-like.
You've got to be able to see what's going on in these horror films.
forces his prideful
From the fucking 1600s. What do you think of the Wicker Man?
conceit. He knows fair well that it's his punishment.
No, yeah, so you got to see what's going on in Nosferatu, right? It's about how men really need to go out only at night when there aren't other regular-looking men around to get courting a young woman, right? And of course, he's got to do gnarly things, and that's the only way he'll be able to get a woman, right? Same could be said for 1931's Dracula. Only gets the women at night, right? And he locks them up and doesn't let them out, right?
For his sins, and thus submits to his fate chosen by God, which unknowingly to him turns out to be the work of the devil, something that I will of course come back to. The son Caleb is the other sinner.
See, now even children are going to be attacked by this. His son is a sinner
Of the family who is guilty of lust. As Exodus 20:17 states, do not commit adultery. As blatant as it is, this is later echoed by Matthew 5:28, which states, but I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart.
This guy lives this by his fucking lifestyle. He looks at a woman and thinks, oh, demon, right? Red flag because it's woman.
Yeah, so it's attacking male sexuality. And it's something that's out of our control anyway.
Yeah, the Bible wrote it. So.
Right. It's hyper agency on men.
The Bible quote is hyper agency on men. How do we still have Christians today?
V of Thomason's breasts reflects Caleb's inner lust, which is called upon when he is confronted by a witch much later in the narrative.
By the way, this Caleb, he's ostracized with his family with no other females around other than his own sister.
He's going through puberty. That's natural. What?
So naturally, he's going to develop. He's just coming into puberty, so he's going to develop lust for whatever females are there.
Right.
So again, this
I'm with you for once. Holy shit.
This is out of his hands.
But technically, by the fucking Bible, he's committing lust.
But he's seen as a sinner. And of course, the men are being shown as sexual perverts, right? He has this incest towards his sister.
Shouldn't you be making this about the Bible and not women?
Caleb, Adam, and Eve becomes especially prominent with the apple.
I don't care about Adam and Eve. Let's get on with this.
Oh, yeah, because that's a woman.
Which sinfully taint their Puritan beliefs further.
I see. You had a shot there to say how Eve and her red flag, nickname for nipples, was the one that got them both fucked up for eternity because Eve was like, yo, we're going to have that apple.
Than before they were exiled. As a result, they both submit to their fates in their final prayers for forgiveness shortly before their deaths.
Yeah, see, so the family is being killed off, right? So that there's only this young woman left.
But notice how both the father and son are given very profound similarities in their personal ordeals. In Puritan house...
For fuck's sake, I'm going to have to fucking teach you idiots fucking film school. See,
even very profound similarities
looking
in their
down,
personal...
we're looking up at him. The cinematography here is telling you how he feels with a blue sky behind him.
Ordeals. In Puritan households, the male members played a vital role to the family as biblical teaching stated that the father was to maintain the dominant authority figure. And
what they mean is he's the servant.
Don't forget that dominance doesn't mean what you think it means. It means servant.
This is what Hollinger and everyone who talks about this doesn't get it.
Oh, and you do? I'm dying to have a full witch explained video by the person who will not be named, right? If you could explain me why some of the shots are made, why some choices are made other than fucking that men are there to be slaves, I'll give you credit. Until then, no.
It's not dominance. Being the servant is not dominant. He's submissive. All you guys know that.
Yeah. BDSM is non-existent. It's just BM.
Were to play a more submissive role in child rearing.
No, they got to leech off these guys. Their role isn't
because women had so much independence in the 1600s. What a fucking idiot.
It's top dog.
The hunting scene with both the father...
Is he a top dog or is he the fucking, like, lowly piece of shit slave? Make up your mind, man.
Son sets up the father's intentions of rearing his son into an authority figure.
Authority figure.
Not authority.
No.
Servitude.
Servant.
He's showing his son how to work for women.
Passing on the breadwinner ideal. The father's masculinity is even called into question on several occasions. The constant motif of him chopping wood infers to his responsibility.
So, yeah, his masculinity is called into question. That's the modern situation that men find themselves in.
No, he's talking about the film's motif. The subtext. How much wood do men chop like that these days? Do you know machines didn't exist back in the 1600s? Do you know what women did back in the 1600s? Independent women? Do you know what they did in the 1600s other than just mooch off of men? What all those independent red flag flying women back in the 1600s, what they were doing? Can you give me some examples, please? Just anything other than dominance is not dominance. And women are just moochers.
That's why masculinity has to be discarded by men. It's an attack on us.
As the man of the house, and of course he is eventually buried under his own masculine pride, that is, the wood itself. But his perceived failures as a man are evident considering he lacks the ability to hunt and gather for his family, again furthering his delusions of vanity despite being bad at most things. If he were to bring witchcraft...
Yeah, he thinks he's above doing labor.
It's not his vanity.
Yeah, it is.
The man is struggling and he's failing.
Why does the man struggle with his place, but the women, it's it's their fucking narcissism speaking? What are you talking about?
This is terrible. Of course, they have a baby here too, right?
You're fucking terrible.
And it's a baby boy, and
How
he
do you
has
know?
to disappear, but they've got to be clever about it. They can't show their hand and show them being evil to an infant, right? Right.
So what they do is they breastfeed them with the seduction that Eve did on Adam, even though I skipped over that. That's how women always get them sucked in, via the teat.
So let's make sure we get to the first of this.
So that she can be free. There is, of course, the baby boy, who also represents another male figure. However, as the concerned mother Catherine highlights, their baby Samuel was never baptized before going missing. This is the fault of the father who, after...
The child just disappeared. Why? Right in front of the girl, right? There's a peekaboo scene. She hides her eyes, opens up, and the child is gone. So what happened? She killed the baby.
On the trailer?
Right? But they don't want to say that she killed the baby. So they hide it, right? And of course, they're blaming the father. He was kicked out before the child got baptized. So it's hyper agency again. This is out of his control.
After being excommunicated means that the baby couldn't receive any sacraments, ultimately dooming the baby to a life of sin. As the Bible suggests, all babies are born with sin, hence why the witch found effective use for the baby. In Puritan belief, girls carried the burden of Eve's corruption.
I'm not listening to this. Don't care again.
Yeah, why be informed on what your opinion is?
What's going on here?
Adam and Eve. In the case of Thomasin, the mother and father discuss how she is approaching.
Like, listen, if you're gonna say shit like I don't need to be an expert and skip over elements that will teach you about why the film does what it does and the history behind the things that are being portrayed within the film, then shut the fuck up. Just shut up. You don't know anything about anything, right? I could just say that you have never even smelled a vagina, right? But I don't know that. I'm just going on all the information I have. I don't need to see pictures or anything. I'm sure. I'm so sure, in fact, that your mother with her red flags decided at that early age of 0 that she wanted a cesarean just to make sure that you had no idea what a vagina would look like and or feel like, right?
Puberty, and so they plan to sell her to another family.
See, it's the old sex trafficking thing, right? The simple fact is, this young lady is a leech to her family.
Leech?
Right? And when they say sell her off, what they really mean is get another family to take care of her.
So that she can leech off of another family? Do you know what trafficking is?
This woman is the white elephant, and she's going to be taken care of. And of course, it's going to be disguised under this idea that the family is turning on her. They're making sure this girl is being taken care of. Make me puke.
What has she done to earn my fucking... I don't know. I don't know what makes you puke, but...
Oh, yes. Guess what? Here we go.
Oh, yes.
Child from their mother in adolescence would bring the child closer to God. This becomes Thomasin's final act before transforming into a witch, where she kills her mother and thus severs her ties from her family to allow her to grow closer to God.
Yeah, she kills her mother. She kills her mother because she actually...
Wouldn't that be a pro for you? One less woman in the world?
Supposedly was submissive to the father.
Well, she would be walking proof that the mother was submissive to the father. Not supposedly.
So this is it. This is a feminist film. And notice it's all about... Feminism is about ageism, too. It's racist and it's ageist.
Racist against who? Ageist against who? Feminist for who? The fuck it, this is as old school Christian values as it gets. Feminism as a movement did not come around for another 270 years or so. What is it you're talking about, man?
Because these young girls don't even appreciate the older women. And
where does the race come in?
In any kind of family unit.
I will agree with you, though. There appear to be not that many people of color back in the 1600s in The Witch.
Older women are top dogs. And so what it's really saying is this young lady kills her mother because she wants to be in charge.
Who was in charge?
She wants not to be free, but to be in charge. You've got to understand what's going on in these stories.
However, this is actually the work of the devil. Thomasin's transformation...
Yeah, it's also the work of the devil. In other words, they're going to say that this young lady is not responsible for her own actions.
What?
Which is completely justifiable given how she is tricked into accepting her fate.
It's completely justifiable because she was tricked into her fate. You know, her father, by the way, noticed that
why do you scrub
he's responsible
so much?
for things that are out of his control. But this young woman isn't responsible for even for her own actions.
If men were never tricked into doing anything, as far as this movie's concerned, society wouldn't continue to go on. By your definition of tricked and what women are doing and how you just cruise past the Adam and Eve story, which is just ironically hysterical at just how much you can get from that.
Which nobody forced her into.
Just the devil.
The modern horror genre mirrors what's happening in real life. Real life.
I'm sorry. So the Witch was released in 2015, but it takes place in 35 or 6. It's the 1600s. Even let's call it 1699. Still decades before America was a thing. Before the Constitution. Modern. That's a modern horror film. All right?
And it's appropriate because this is horror. This is psychological horror.
Watch it.
This is the horror of the average guy living in today's society.
Dominant shot.
Okay, we're going to end it here.
We're looking at him
we don't
from
need to say anything else.
A low angle. That's it. We're done. This guy is fucking Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes. Uses his own arguments against himself if it's a woman. I don't have words anymore. Like, I genuinely don't have words. All right. Last but not least, this guy's pathetic, says a pathetic guy. Oh, well, if you're speaking about, well, yeah, half of this is true. Wait, moist critical? I am excited to see what is being said about this rather popular YouTuber.
Yeah, Penguin Zero, again, getting butthurt over this particular scam artist that's going to show later, who is actually saying some truthful things about gender dynamics. Now, before we get into this, I just want to show you that, what we got here? Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito is the 5th hottest man on the planet, according to a new poll. I want you guys to keep that in mind before we get into what Penguin Zero has to say.
We've all heard the expression, fake it till you make it, but today I want to take a look at what happens when all you do is fake it without ever making it. You end up like this loser we're about to take a look at today. A guy who has become a complete parody of self-confidence, but without any level of self-awareness. He portrays himself as an extremely successful, extremely rich guy that would have no problem at all stealing your wife right out from under your nose. It's beautiful stuff that he talks.
Look, this guy could be a pathetic scam artist. He's no good at scamming.
Who?
But he may not be pathetic, period. Right? So this is important for you guys to realize.
I have no context.
Take you, for example, and me, and we both pull up, and we go to your girl. Odds are, I'm gonna take that bitch. If you compared me to you, you're not gonna win that battle.
Bro's out here rocking that man dark body type and acting like he, for some reason, be able to take your girl just because he rolled up in a rented McLaren.
Okay, now...
Also, doesn't know how to mic himself. Has the mic facing his shoulder, not his mouth.
We see what's going on. This guy actually said something true. Girls go for status. Girls, you don't need to work out. Women want what you own. That's what it is.
Wait, girls don't need to work out? Or guys don't need to work out? Because if girls are going for status, they need to keep themselves attractive, right?
And of course,
which calls back to the Danny DeVito thing, is what I'm assuming we're about to get to.
This Penguin Zero, who followed that, he gained status. He's got 12 million subscribers. He got his girl. I suspect you have a girl, right, Penguin? You got it because you got...
I love that he talks to these people like to give him the time of day.
Status. And that's what this guy is saying. This is what you have to do to get the girl.
This guy's entire personality...
Yeah. Penguin Zero is saying you got to rent a McLaren, and that's it. That's all you need. Girls have no substance to them.
His money. He's like a real life Mr. Krabs, but with even skinnier arms. So he believes because...
No. It's not that his personality is money. He's telling you that personality doesn't matter. It's what you bring to the table financially that gets the girl, and he's right.
Well, thank God you're working on yours then, huh? Right?
I see beautiful women with assholes all the time.
Yep, I could.
Your personality doesn't matter to women.
Because he has money.
Well, have you tried talking to them? Have you tried improving your personality? Better question.
That he's entitled to women and women find him irresistible.
No, where does that come from? Entitled to women? No, he said because he's got money, women will be attracted to him. That's what he's saying.
Now, I thought it was the car. I don't think he said anything about money. He just said that if I showed up with this car and you didn't have a chance with this bleeped bitch.
What's pathetic is this kind of dishonesty here.
Do you think
he doesn't consider himself entitled? There's nothing about what this guy said that suggests that.
Which guy?
You can tell by looking at him, this was no jock in high school. This wasn't exactly the prom king. Yet he pretends that he is now. He talks about how successful his businesses are now.
No. He's not pretending he's the prom king. He's telling you that money gets the girl, and he happens to be right about that.
Have you heard the figure of speech that anybody that tells you that they are strong at something usually are trying to project and they're making up for something, especially when it comes to sports cars? Have you heard of that? Have you left the house?
9-figure business. He has all of this money, though I don't necessarily take him at his word because I just don't believe a fucking word this guy says.
So the next time you think that your girl's on lock, I got the keys to the castle, motherfucker.
I have no doubt he spent hours trying.
Is he the guy wearing the shirt to the car that he's going to steal your bitch with? Don't be that guy.
Cook up that finishing line right there.
I agree. I don't believe this guy. I can see he's an obvious scam artist and he's bad at it.
Oh.
The thing is,
but
if he fools anybody, he's gained success. It's hard to argue with success.
You could say that with anybody.
It's like, Penguin, you've got 12 million subscribers. I have a hard time arguing with that. A lot of people will follow guys like you who are very empty and have nothing to say. What can I say?
And what in the fucking tap dancing Christ would you call yourself? You don't even get on screen. You just talk over other people's content, right? And tell us about the fucking feminist propaganda in everything, right? And that is everything that you do. So what do you have to contribute to this world other than your bizarre adaptation of what other people are actually contributing to this world, or to this platform, should I say?
The keys to the castle. Now, why I don't believe him about the success of his business is because the only thing he shows that's worth money is his car, the McLaren. He's made like 1,000 shorts.
Yeah, and anybody who wears a McLaren t-shirt is either a McLaren kid, an idiot, or really trying to convince you. Or sponsored. Like G Fuel behind him there, right? So I'm sure he's going to say something about how delicious G Fuel is. And if you notice, his fridges are stacked, right? What kind of person never drinks anything out of their fridge, right?
About how much money he spends filling up a McLaren's tank, or how often he drives his McLaren, and that is the only thing worth a lot of money that he's ever shown, at least that I've seen.
Well, scam artists have to start somewhere, right? He's starting small.
So that leads me to believe that it is 100% rented, or he really dumped all of his money into that one vehicle in order to portray himself as a successful businessman. He did a little house tour, and it's very humble living. It's a nice place, but it's not exactly like a super mega mansion you would expect.
But if his scam works, he can build off it and start putting his money into other things that make him look rich, right?
Someone with a 9-figure
What are you
business
talking
to
about?
own.
Why do you keep saying
And he's
right?
not wearing a ton of ice or anything like that, and he's clearly a guy who loves to flex because he's always talking about his wealth and his success, yet the only thing you can ever see from that is that McLaren.
Well, hopefully he's watching your video and taking notes. He says, okay, this Penguin Zero guy's right. I got to get myself some bling and wear a suit. A suit would be fairly small investment.
Or some charisma. You know, something that's worth value other than sitting in the car. Like, do you just sit in the car and just think, oh, I'm awesome because I have money in this car? And the girl thinks that as well, too. What does the LGBTQ community do for things like that? If rich guys get women with cars, what do rich members of the LGBTQ community do? Right?
It would add to it. That's true.
Now this may be like a tinfoil hat conspiracy, but I truly just think he either rents it for these videos, or even more depressingly, drained all of his finances to make that big purchase with that belief that this car would be enough to convince people that he has a lot of money.
But it's not pathetic. He has nothing to lose, right?
Money. If it's all of his money, he purchased a car, which are, if you are good with money, if you know anything about money, cars are probably the stupidest thing you could invest in because they depreciate the second you take them off the lot. Right?
If he poured all his money into purchasing that car, he still owns the car.
But he's
still at the starting point. He hasn't gone backwards.
Are you going to swing back around to trafficking? Because that, I mean, unless you're implying that Andrew Tate is the one who figured out how to make money, dumping all of your money into a car to get girls who are leechers, as you said, still leaves you guys poor and in your very nice car. How long does a leeching woman stay with a guy who has no money but only has a car that he spent all of his money for to pick up said female, who's a leecher, as we've established earlier?
Still gets to drive around in a nice car. So there's nothing for him to lose. The worst case scenario is scam doesn't work and he tries something else.
With what money?
He's not like a married man who put all his life into like a diamond engagement ring and then he paid.
What do you think costs more, a fucking McLaren or an engagement ring? Holy fuck, you have no experience in life.
He's alimony and child support later on.
Oh.
Like, he specced all of his points into delusion here and is just letting it rip. Like, this McLaren means I'm successful. I gotta fake it till I make it. This is how I do it.
Here's why the gym does not matter.
By the way, this is important. Listen to this.
Tired of guys that are like, oh, I'm going to the gym, I'm trying to get fit. I feel like I have a pretty decent tone.
Did douchebag Slender Man get you with that jump scare in the beginning? So this is his rant about why going to the gym makes you a fucking idiot. Because he's skinny and insecure. So you going to the gym...
No. This is the dishonesty, this guy. This guy doesn't come off as insecure at all. That's you projecting onto him. You are the insecure one. He actually said something that's very true.
What about Penguin Zero or Moist Critical makes you think that he's insecure? Dude's wearing a fucking Hanes t-shirt and, hasn't really put himself together. Well, looking at him, I don't think, man, this guy's really trying to get fucking just pussy just all over the place. His setup is all wrong. I see no McLarens, so what the fuck?
This makes Penguin Zero insecure. He said that it doesn't matter.
All right, so Penguin Zero is the insecure one. The one who has 13 million people subscribed to him on YouTube is insecure about the guy that has to tell you that going to the gym doesn't matter. The guy that tells you that he has money, not the guy who does not give a shit about talking about money at all. My experience is rich people don't like talking about their money. And here's the biggest reason why, because people ask for it.
That you go to the gym.
Right.
And Danny DeVito is proof of it. I guarantee you, Danny DeVito never lifted weights in his entire life. There was never a time where he was buff, ever.
He's also, how do you know that, first of all? And he's short. He's like 5'2" or something.
And yet he made 5th on a poll of 20 top sexiest men.
Some people look for more than either a car or money. It's called charisma. It's called being funny. Having stuff to talk about, being an endearing human being, empathy, sympathy, just other things than money. You fucking idiot.
Right? Hottest men, sorry. He beat out guys like Tom Hardy, Pierce Brosnan, Jason Momoa. You could at least argue that Pierce...
Hey, look at Ryan Reynolds. He's hot and funny. Can he get any more perfect? Oh, wait, he's holding a doggo.
Bronson's old, but...
So women want to have sex with dogs, too, because it lives in a rich house, right?
Jason Momoa, Chris Evans, right. He's number 5. So this guy, this scam artist...
What was that list you're even referring to? Joe Player. I stand corrected. I didn't realize that Joe Player is the authority on how to mold your life.
You can at least... And he has a terrible physique, and he's old. And yet he's number 5. He beat out Hugh Jackman on that list.
Gym is offensive to
relevant.
him. It's pretty pathetic. You don't want to go to the gym, that's fine. But he's out here built like 2 French fries duct taped to an uncooked spaghetti noodle. And if you're happy with your body...
See, that's funny. Women are attracted to that. I can vouch for that.
That's absolutely fine. But
that's not what he said. He says, if you want to get the girl, you don't need to go to the gym. And he's right.
Well, no. Well, what you're doing over this video is what Penguin Zero is doing over the other video. So, turnabout is fair play, no? Right? Just like I'm doing over this.
Why shit on people that are going to the gym? He makes a whole rant about why it's stupid to do it. Which
No. He's saying...
No. I speak fucking swindler.
If you want to get the girl, you're wasting your energy.
I love that the girl is just... We don't have a point of reference. Just the girl.
Into putting it into a body. Get wealth and fame. And he's right.
Is laugh.
There are shallow women out there, of course, but anybody worth their salt wouldn't try to attract such a girl. Again, just revealing how uneducated, how how much you have no experience with anything revolving around the other sex.
Gender. I don't need to go to the gym, because you pull up to the gym making less than 10K a month, pulling up in your bullshit fucking Corolla.
Yeah, if I made 10K a month, I'd be driving a Corolla.
And I pull up in my McLaren. It's not even a contest, dude.
Yeah, I'm going to drive faster than you.
No one gives a fuck about your muscles. Most of the guys that go to the gym, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you're fucking stupid. All that
If you're rich, why do you have a fucking stank-ass iPhone with the, like... Why don't you have one of those fucking super Dolce & Gabbana bracelets? Oh, and Adidas? Like, what? You have a McLaren shirt and Adidas underwear?
workout that you're taking is making you more stupider.
So unless you're making over 10K a month, you don't have the right to go to the gym? Like, he's not...
Like, why would you say something so
I really feel like I'm in Inception right now. This is
disingenuous? That's not what he said at all. He didn't say that at all. He said, put your money, put your time and your energy in what your end goal is.
Don't worry about any of these videos, sweetheart. Put your time and your energy into learning, into books, into learning how to socialize, not watching fucking YouTube content and deciphering it and how you can figure out to make it fucking somehow feminist or anti-feminist or whatever the fuck.
And goal is to get the girl.
The girl, you know.
Why spend 5 hours at the gym every night?
Yeah.
Or even 1 hour?
Yeah, why be in shape for your own personal health?
When you could be working and making a bigger income. That's what attracts the ladies.
Not even making a point. Like, he's not.
Yes, he did. He made a point. You just told a bold-faced lie. Either you're lying or you're too stupid to realize you're wrong. This guy told a fact. Show up with assets. That car is a status symbol.
I don't know if, like, I mean, you're not completely wrong in your extremely cynical view of people. There are people that go strictly off of, you know, bling and what kind of car you drive, but not everyone does. Because if everyone did, then there'd be nobody left. The richest 10% of people in the world would just be banging every the girl in the world. And again, I propose this question to you. What about the LGBTQ community? What do they do to attract others?
Show up with status symbols and it'll attract the women, and it does.
I'm even saying, like, the time you spend in the gym, you...
Some would argue that the fucking giant play button behind his head is a status symbol.
Could be spent learning how to...
Because why is that featured so prominently in the shot?
Drop ship things from Alibaba. Like, he's not even, like, trying to make some kind of point. He's just like, you're stupid for going to the gym because you're making less than 10K a month. He actually sounds like he's about to cry. You're stupid with your dumb muscles, dumb muscle man. Like, what in the crazy insecurity are you going through right now to think that...
He's not insecure, and he didn't look like...
Yes, he is.
He's crying. He's just putting on a scam, and...
Right. So, if he's confident, why would he need to scam?
I can't say he's doing a good job. He's bad at scamming.
What?
I don't think he'll succeed at his scam. But he has nothing to lose if he fails at it.
Except all of his money.
You know? He's no worse off if it doesn't take flight.
Except he's got that 2-ton pile of garbage that guzzles gas, and if he tries to flip it, he's just lost a couple of dozen, maybe $100,000. What does he have to lose? Just get the McLaren and you'll get the girl.
This was a good idea.
Here's why you gotta break up with your girlfriend if you're not making 6 figures a year. Brutal honest truth is that girls need a man who can protect a...
Like that. It's a fucking video game playing under him. Show your car.
provide for them. If you're not making at least 10K a month, how the fuck are you going to protect and provide for your girl?
Man's out here boofing crazy pills. You don't need to be making 10K a month in order to protect your girlfriend. You have absolutely no meat on your bones whatsoever. The only foe you're equipped to handle is if the gingerbread men from Shrek tried to attack your girl, then maybe you could fend them off. But
yeah, which is why people would go to the gym. See, that would be somebody with muscles. The guy that has a Corolla only makes 10K a month, which is still quite well in that's upper middle class by today's standards. You know, strong, healthy for themselves, and strong enough to defend any encounters and protect their girl.
Well, for one thing, the protecting is horseshit anyway.
Why?
Women don't need protection.
Why?
Who would they protect them from? Other men. Men love women. They would never attack women.
Are you fucking high? Are you fucking high? So there's never been a man that's attacked a woman ever.
So women are safe. But provision, women
safe.
get together with the man because they want him to provide for her. That is a simple fact of life.
For some people.
And look at you. You got 12 million subs. You got a merch store. I suspect you're making money.
I have a merch store.
You do exactly what he's saying. You make money to get your girlfriend. I suspect you have a girlfriend.
And what if he doesn't?
And you follow all the rules this guy's talking about.
What if he's pansexual? What if he's
everyone above the
demisexual?
Okay.
Age of 18 and weighing more than 100.
I love the fact that he just doesn't do any sort of homework for any of these videos. He just goes in, here's what I'm going to fucking twist this into. Doesn't look into anything. I presume you have a girlfriend because you have 12 million subs, and that, poof, equals the girl.
It's going to be a tough tussle. And
by the way, I agree. He wasn't going to one-on-one defend someone from, he's not going to take on another guy, but you're forgetting that wealthy men can hire bodyguards.
How would he do that if he dumped all of his money into the car? And where would the bodyguard fit in the two-seater McLaren if you're there with the girl? Is he going to ride on the hump?
Case in point, take a look at Donald Trump, right?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
He's a fat, elderly man.
He wasn't always fat and elderly. Do you understand how time works? I don't think you do, because you talk about the witch like it's modern.
Who do you think Donald Trump can take on one-on-one?
I don't know. Have you seen the footage from January 6th? Some people don't need to be strong. Some people just need to know how to fucking coerce morons like you.
But go try laying your hands on him. See what happens.
Well, he's the
I'm
fucking
sure he's got
president.
Bodyguards to take.
Yeah, it's part of the law ever since JFK was shot. Actually, before then, Secret Service. They're called Secret Service. So it's kind of a luxury of being a president. You got no shot.
Take you down. Know what was popular in the past? Men would avoid getting muscular in the past. You know why? Because muscles was a sign of a lack of status. If you had strong musculature, it means you were a working peon, and women avoided you.
Some people.
Right.
Well, why don't you go interview MMA stars, boxers, athletes? Oh, that's weird. Athletes work out a lot, but they make like 8, 9, 10 figures. That's weird. I wonder if they get the girl.
It was a sign of wealth when you were stick-like. And women will put...
What do you have? Where are you gaining this information? A sign of wealth to be stick-like, or, poor and hungry.
Oh, hey. Like I said, there's Danny DeVito.
Yeah,
Who do you think Danny DeVito is going to take on? He's not even 5 feet tall. And yet...
What do we got here? The Exploring series, The First Sheaf by H.R. Wakefield, Morgan Scorpion, brand new. I watched the whole thing. Rich people daily routine videos are bad. What the fuck? What is your watch habits? And you're Canadian.
He's voted 5th hottest man in the world.
More than 10K a month.
How about you do a face reveal, and I'll get as many female of mine that are subscribers or watchers of the channel, and we'll gladly get you a score, and we'll put you up against other people who do YouTube content, and we'll see how hot they think you are.
Doesn't enable you to magically protect her better. If someone's making a ruckus and you're trying...
Yeah, you can just hire a bodyguard, right? Or call the police. Because if you're high enough status, the police jump. So if some guy's causing a ruckus and you call the police and you're Mr., important, they'll come running.
Or if you just dial 911. What happened to bodyguards? Suddenly, we went from bodyguards to police. You dial and they come running. Yeah, that's been a thing for a while.
And that's more impressive to women, by the way, Penguin. Much more impressive than a man taking on another man is a bunch of other men showing up at your word. That's much more impressive.
They're public servants, you idiot.
Stop whatever's going on. The amount of money you have isn't going to do anything for you. You can't just be like throwing money at it like, get away from her, you scallywag. She's with me and I make more than 10K a month. Here's money. Like throwing it all over the place to get them away. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It's just pure delusion. Now, I guess, like, he's not wrong. If you make more money, you can...
But she won't leave him. Even if the guy knocked him down and, wanted to get with her, if the guy fighting you, no matter how powerful he is physically, if he's a penniless nobody, the guy's girlfriend isn't going to go with him.
What if he's a richer somebody?
Is she?
Provide more, I suppose. But what the fuck does that have to do with anything? So if you don't make...
See, now this is pathetic right here. I want to play that again. He admits that provision makes a difference.
If you make more money, you can...
Just a minute. Sorry, get back here.
This doesn't make sense. It's just pure delusion. Now, I guess, like, he's not wrong. If you make more money, you can provide more, I suppose. But what the fuck does that have to do with anything? So if you don't...
Why is that funny? It's a fact. If you're going to be old school, chivalrous, that's why he's saying, what does that have to do with anything? Because modern women, I'm not talking like the modern women from The Witch, like modern women can do well by themselves. And, because they're such evil beings, they manipulate everybody, and they don't need people to be so chivalrous and pay for all of their needs. They could actually pay for themselves sometimes. Hell, they talk to the devil a lot, and shit, he's got to have 1,000 different ways to get food and money and things like that.
So he admits it, and what it has to do is that women will shack up with a man who provides. That's what his point is. And that's his point. Because again, that's how you behave.
No. Nope. That is
build yourself up to get your girl.
Oh, you're talking about him?
The rest of us.
He doesn't even know. You have no idea. God, the confidence in somebody who's speaking just absolute nonsense is Trumpian, if I dare say so. Holy shit, bro.
Don't make 100K at least a year, break up with your girl.
It's cool that she's sticking with you right now because you're trying to build yourself. But
okay, let's see. We'll see if there's anything else.
Oh, wow. Millionaire only has 33 likes. Man, he's only 33 the girls. And that's assuming if they're all the girl.
That's worth looking at. You know what else is pathetic is when you display your ignorance.
The like sign
No self-awareness. Zero self-awareness on this guy.
up to courses or anything like that. I'm really not sure if he actually like loves the smell of his own farts or if it all is an act. I couldn't tell you.
I can tell you it's obviously an act, yeah. Exactly.
Either way, it's to further
So why are you defending him like he's figured out the wheel?
the goal of making money off the back of desperate people who see this and think that this guy is actually super successful and is trying to give them the secrets to success.
Exactly. Yeah. Gurus are a dime a dozen. They do it because it's the easy way out. It works. Scam artists, if they're successful, gain easy
If they're a dime a dozen, why would you need help getting one?
money. And this guy is obviously a scam artist. Right.
Or money. Shit, do you know how much a dime is? 12 girls for 10 cents? It's pretty cheap. I think I have a quarter somewhere. Hold on a second.
So why can't you? I mean, you don't believe him. He's obviously a scam artist. You can't figure it out. But you are pointing out that this guy isn't pathetic because if his scam works, he's successful, and you can't argue with success.
Man, if you can't argue with success. He's got a McLaren, and he's telling everybody else how to do it. His audience of 33. He's got it. He's got it on lock.
It's all just another guru scam, but I find him particularly entertaining because he's doing the bare minimum. He didn't even bother to invest in his own body to look the part, so he's not in good shape. He didn't.
No, you're being an idiot. He just got through back here saying that going to the gym is a waste of time. So if he had actually built his body up and then said that, he would have made himself look bad.
Wouldn't that be like a bonus, though?
Muscular toned body and said working out is a waste of your time, people would call him on it.
And he's calling him on his bullshit now, which you're agreeing with. What the fuck is wrong with you?
He actually has a proper investment is at keeping himself scrawny.
Investment? Is that like at the hotel where you have mints on the pillow? Is it a vestment?
Do you ever notice, do you ever pay attention to the words that come out of your mouth?
Look in a mirror and say that sometimes. Just look in a mirror, or even watch your own content back. Editors do this, and they'll say, it's kind of weird. The hypocrisy is just pouring down the river.
Bother to even really pretend to have a lot of money aside from that McLaren that he shows from time to time, and he's just saying things that other gurus say. And
yeah, so he listens to guys who have achieved success through their scamming and say, okay, that's how it's done. Right. I don't think he's very good at it at all. Matter of fact, I think he's terrible at it.
So what are you talking? What is this? What is the purpose of this then? If you think he's bad at it, why are you defending the art of it?
But he's following the footsteps, or trying to follow in the footsteps, of scam artists that have been successful. So it makes sense.
Like right? Danny DeVito and Donald Trump.
I don't know if he's actually found real success. I know he has quite a bit of botted engagement that I've seen online, at least as of everything I've been able to research from it. But other than that, I don't know if anyone even believes his act. I would be surprised if they did, because he's very bad at it. Also,
agreed. I agree with that.
All right, I'm done. I'm fucking done. This person has no self-awareness whatsoever. As always, the lack of self-awareness is comical. Luckily, he didn't pick on any female content creators, although his idea of celebrity is something that is right out of like Breakfast at Tiffany's, which is fucking 70 years ago. My God. Face reveal. I promise I will get the girls to do a judging on your face. If you do a face reveal, I will have the girl, maybe couples of the girls, many the girl, judge you based on your looks. This way you could kind of put yourself up. Actually, you know what? I'll put you up against Danny DeVito. And then we'll do the old school Facebook. We'll have girls pick you or Danny DeVito, and we'll see where it goes. Just based on a picture. That's all you need. Or I'll let you rent a McLaren, or go to the McLaren dealership. Don't even rent one. Just go to the McLaren dealership, park your butt in the car, take a photo. I'll put it up against, I'll look for the worst looking picture of Danny DeVito, and we'll have the girls judge and pick. I think that's fair.